So it would just be my face.
All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, everybody? It's Michael here from Technoid. Okay, time out. Let's pump the brakes. What's going on here? Where's Sam? Where's the SMT? Well, guess what? I'm taking over this show tonight. It is a hostile takeover, ladies and germs. This is my show tonight. The SMT Podcast is Technoid hacked. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? It's Michael. I didn't actually hack the show. I'm not that smart yet. But welcome, everybody. It's good to see you all in tonight. We got a live crowd coming in. I want to just take this time to thank each and every one of you for joining in. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning on. As always, it is really nice that you guys turned it in. So, without further ado, let me explain what's going on tonight. So, for a while, Sam's podcasts are pretty good, but they are a little bit stale. I'm not dissing Sam. I love my brother. I love Sam. But come on now, everybody. Let's be honest. And I'm not trying to sound weird or anything, but I'm just being honest. Sometimes I'm falling half asleep. I'm just playing. So tonight we're going to do a little different. So I'm actually going to bring my tech show. I'm going to give you guys a sample of what I do on my channel, and I'm going to have Sam join in, and we will hear what he has to say. And I basically am going to open up. So again, everybody, this is my time tonight. This is my time to shine. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys. And remember, the only way that this goes out successfully is we need to hit that like button. So I am going to set a goal. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to set a goal because we got 50 people in here. Let's shoot for 1 like. Just 1 like. I think we've already hit that goal. So great job, everybody. So without further ado, let's get it going. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk all about tech. I'm going to talk to you about the current rumors. I am going to talk about everything you need to know from every aspect of every company that is out there on the market. I'm going to focus on OnePlus. We're going to focus on Apple, Samsung, T-Mobile, Amazon, things that you guys are going to need to know. I'm going to lay it out there, and I hope you guys tune in to watch everything. Now, even though this is technically, well, it's not really my podcast, but technically this is my area to reign, I want to do something. I want Sam in this. So Sam, you could come out of hibernation, but we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do a little editing after when you come in. Since I'm the big man and I'm going to hound the show, you're going to be the little screen. So we're going to give you the prompts of a little mini screen. There we go. We got a perfect size. Hey, we got to switch that. No, I deserve the big screen. This is my show tonight. That's what I'm talking about.
No!
All right, let's leave it at that. So everybody, again, this is not really my podcast. This is just for fun. Sam, thank you for letting me do that. But I am going to host the show for the majority of it. I'm going to walk you guys through it. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Sam's going to tune in. And again, hit that like button, everybody. I hope you enjoyed tonight's podcast. So without further ado, I've wasted 3 minutes talking. I need a drink. So let's take one sip. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
All right. So first story up of the night, we're going to start it up with Apple. Now, Sam, if you'd be so kind, I'd like you to share play or share screen, my screen, if you could get it, or I'll share it on my end. Sorry, I forgot to do that. So we're going to start up tonight with the first rumor up, Apple. Now, guys, I know a lot of you are not Apple users. I know some of you do not like Apple, and that is completely fine. My only problem is that they're part of the tech world. So we have to talk about Apple. Whether you like them or not, whether you stand on them, we have to talk about them. So it's better we just rip the Band-Aid off now, and then we get to the best stuff later.
Facts, bro.
With that said, let's walk you through what's going on. So everybody, as you know, the iPhone 12 is shaping up to be probably one of the last iPhones with a port. Now, if you guys don't know, I've been covering for some time that the iPhone 12 is going to be the last. Will be the last iPhone with a port on it. Now, for a while, Apple has been looking to basically what they're doing is they're going to remove the port. Portless iPhone is happening. However, everyone was speculating it was going to happen this year. There were YouTubers and there were so many people that were just saying it was going to happen. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not happening this year. You've got 1 more year and that's it. So let's break down the news. So in this article from Mac Rumors, They basically lay out the plan of what they're saying, and I'm going to provide some of my own personal sources that have reached out to me to confirm and debunk a few of these posts in here. So thank you to most of my anonymous sources. I like to keep them private because I don't want to expose who they are. I want to thank you for giving me the info. So let's get it going. So as you know, this will be the last iPhone with the Lightning port, iPhone 12. Now, since this will be the last one, what's going to happen with the iPhone 13? Well, the iPhone 13 is basically going to be the phone that will use a wireless charging system. It is going to go full in on wireless charging, but they won't technically be ditching the port per se, because what they're going to do, everybody, is they're going for a smart connector-like style. Now, this isn't going to be the main port of charging, but after looking at some details, it looks like this port will be the sync and data transfer port if you have to use a wired connection. So really, this portless iPhone is not really portless, but they're thinking of ways of trying to go around data transfers and all that stuff. So basically, all you need to know is the iPhone 13 will be ditching the Lightning port and won't be using USB-C. And the reason why they won't be going with USB-C is it won't make Apple any money. Everyone's saying that, oh, well, they made a USB-C prototype, like in this tweet here, the USB-C prototype iPhone 12s. So this is where my sources come in. I'd like to debunk the first thing off the bat. There was no USB-C prototype iPhone 12. There was none. The truth is, that was just made up by this guy because he is reading off the news. Not discrediting this man. He claims to be this somewhat reliable alleged leaker. While he is somewhat reputable, this part right here is not true. So do not be fooled by this. My sources are telling me Apple had no intention of making a iPhone with a USB-C port. So I want to shoot that down right away. Number two, there is going to be a smart connector. And basically what's going to happen is they will be using Apple Pencil support. They are going to put Apple Pencil on the iPhone. And number three, and then Sam, I will chime you in. The last thing you want to know, wireless charging technology is going to be a slight upgrade from what it is now. So Apple currently throttles the speeds at 7.5 watts. It looks like they'll be upgrading it to 15 watts maximum, but that's still not enough in my opinion. But those are what's coming from my sources. And again, I want to thank them for giving me some of the information. So now, Sam, I asked you this question and I asked the live chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that this portless phone system, this portless idea, this gravity that they're leading towards, what do you think is going to happen to the mass consumers? Now, we're not talking tech. We're not talking tech. We're talking about basically the entire average consumer fan base that has adapted Lightning, that has adapted this wired connection. They've adapted everything with Apple's proprietorship. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I think the average consumer, the iPhone user, probably would get pretty upset, initially. Hi, Yasmin. Yasmin's here. Okay, thank you. She's going to give me a good night kiss. Thanks, Yasmin.
Shout out to Yasmin, the greatest daughter in the tech community right now.
Yes, the greatest daughter, the world's #1 tech daughter. Good job, Baba. All right, say bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Shout out Yasmin 2020.
Okay, thanks, Baba.
I'm your panda.
I know, it's very cute panda shirt. Very cute.
I'm
All right,
your panda.
I got to get back to my show.
I'm your panda.
You're the best panda. You're my only panda.
Oh, you want me to take the ropes? I'll take the ropes.
All right, so here's what I got for you.
All right.
iPhone users are going to be upset. They're going to be mad. They're going to be, like, what the heck am I doing with all my cables? I've got chargers. I've got cables. Now you're going to go portless. I've got all of this junk, right? They're also probably going to be a little bit upset with the new procedure for how they're going to be handling syncing data and doing updates and things of that nature. So kind of like what I would want to see. And I don't know, man. I mean, Apple's really reliable when it comes to implementing new technology. So I'd like to hope that it would be as seamless as possible. If they do decide to ditch it completely, it's got to be foolproof. Mm-hmm. There can't be holes in the game, right? There can't be deficiencies and problems. A hiccup here and there is not a big deal. But if people are going into the Apple store like, this system's failing me, they're going to be pissed. But the adoption rate for the new phones will be the same. People are going to get the new iPhone, right? They're still going to upgrade. But that is a huge step going from the Lightning cable, which has been utilized since the iPhone 5, right? People have gotten used to that cable, and the only cable that they could go from the Lightning cable would be the USB-C, but they won't because that's not their proprietary solution.
It will not make them any money, and
Yeah.
worst of all, USB-C will it won't do nothing for them. It's a port that's too common that they won't be able to bank off of, because with Lightning they're able to license, they're able to do their own MFI certifications, they're able to milk most of these companies, these third-party manufacturers, with just licensing fees right away.
Yeah, but to say that they wouldn't make money is kind of wrong. They could still make money, but I think they make more out of their proprietary solution, you know? So it could just be a situation, agreed. They'd rather not sell any cables than to sell somebody else's cable that's a standard. And I think that's why they're going portless, is because they actually don't want to go USB-C.
That's true, yeah.
So the end game for them was to get away from having to use USB-C, because there are some entities, some governing bodies that were going to force them to use USB-C. And now they're just going to completely evade it. They're just going to say, we're not using cables. So you can't sue us now, right? We've got these magnetic pins. What's up, Tana? Big shout out to my brother. Tana's so lit. I think that's where they're going with this. They chose to go portless, or they will go portless, because they do not want to use the same protocol standard cable that Android is using. They still want to make sure they delineate themselves from the other operating system.
And that, that's what I've been saying for months. I have told people that Apple would rather drop the port as a whole than ever put USB-C on. I think Apple would probably be down on their knees with grazes of glass in their arms before they say we give in to USB-C. But here are the gaps of holes that they have to start filling in. So now you're switching over to a smart connector that is not the main charger. That's not your main charger. They want you to invest in a wireless charging system. Now, Apple has resurrected AirPower, so they're starting to rework the brand, try to get that, because they said that the truth is they want to make AirPower that leap to the wireless future with the interface and everything work together. But here are the gaps and holes that people keep missing, and I don't understand why big YouTubers do not call Apple out on this instead of feeding into the crap that they feed. Apple, if they really want to push a wireless future, that means Apple would have to feature some cheap wireless device to charge your phone in the box, which is never going to happen unless they put it in the expensive model. Apple would then...
Will not happen. I agree with you. Will not happen.
Apple would then also have to raise the fast wireless charging speed from 15 watts to somewhat maybe 20 watts or something of OnePlus standards, because you're replacing wired. Wired can get you 45 watts fast charging power delivery 3.0 right now on a Note 10 Plus. You'll be out of your phone in an hour. This is going to mess up so many people because people prefer using the USB-C to Lightning port with a fast charger.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, as much as we like to talk about Apple and their proprietorship port, I'm going to be honest. I would rather them keep the Lightning port than drop it for no port, because there are too many gaps and holes that they still have not filled out. At the end of the day, Apple's software is not something that can manage your battery heat. It's not something that you should be using. If you really want to be proprietor, what you should do is when you make a wireless charger and you feature fast charging, do what OnePlus did. Have all the heat go to the brick. Use proprietorship wires. Say you must use only our stuff to get this best experience. But even then, they will never do it because that's Apple. They know people aren't going to be that smart, and they know people aren't going to be that dumb either. So they get you for what they can. And there's one other thing. If you think earbuds, that's another thing. They are dropping the Lightning EarPods, starting with the iPhone 12. That was something I forgot to mention while I was reading this article. So not only are they giving you hints that they're actually done with ports, this is the start. Dropping EarPods in the box. The signs are there, Sam. These YouTubers, these big YouTubers, like, I'm not going to say their names, but the Apple YouTubers, they want to defend Apple, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but how can you be fed so blindly to the point where it sounds like you're a sheep, a real sheep, like an actual sheep? You really expect the mass consumers, the millions of users, not you, the million of users that use iPhones, that use these products on a day-to-day basis and don't even have wireless charging? How can you expect them to go, oh, I can get wireless charging. It's so easy. It's a transition.
Mm-hmm.
It should be something that was gradually. Now, Apple started the transition. I just think that it was done too late, too soon, and there's not enough time for Apple to do this unless they raise up the speeds in their wireless chargers. And that's all I've got to say on that.
I think there's a couple things Apple could do to make the transition pretty smooth, actually.
Want to hear it?
I think one option for them, and this is going to be the cheapest one, is to actually give users a super, super small, convenient wireless charger that connects by USB, by lightning cable, and include that in the box with the newest generation of iPhone. Even though it may only charge 5 watts, right? So it's not going to be super fast. It will get them used to using a charging cradle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or some kind of a small pad, right? Super thin, super small. And they can continue to sell it if people want it. And they can make it cheaper. They can make it affordable. $29.99. For Apple, that's cheap.
For Apple,
right?
that's cheap. Yeah.
Okay. The following year, the next generation iPhone, you're going to actually sell something better from that. But it's the next version, the next generation. 10-watt wireless charging, a little bit better, more effective, more reliable charging, but you're going to sell it, right? So now you've given them in the box included for free with your purchase for the last generation, right? And then you're going to start carrying and selling something next gen that's better, that people would be like, okay, well, last year wasn't good. They worked all the kinks out. Here's a better one, and it works faster. And they could sell it for $49.99, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're getting 7.5 watts or 10 watts, whatever it is.
Yes.
I think, but there has to be some form of a transitional bridge. You got to connect the generations of the technology for charging. Because like you said, bro, people are going to be mad. People are going to be disappointed, but you give people about 2 years to get into the new tech, you know?
And I will say this, and one last thing, and then we'll move right on to OnePlus. Apple is known for when they do something, everybody follows. I'm telling you right now, mark this day, mark this podcast. I'm saying it right now. In about 2 years from the iPhone 13's release, start to expect Android phones to ditch USB-C. I'm just saying it right now. Once Apple does it, it will pave everybody an excuse to do it. And I think the reason why they're ditching the EarPods, I forgot to also say this, for the AirPods, to push AirPod sales. That's what I think.
I mean, they want to exploit that segment. I mean, they did really good with Gen 1 and they did really good with Gen 2. I mean, I'm sure they have big hopes for the next generation of their AirPods.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, I just hope Android manufacturers are much smarter than that. They don't drop the USB-C port. That port is universal. It works perfectly.
It's gotten faster and faster, right?
Faster. That's why I would argue with them. You work so hard to perfect a port that to just drop it a hole with no backup plan or anything, that's half-assed. Don't do that. Stick with it. They don't need to push AirPods. Master has already done it. Absolutely, Sean. They've done it themselves. Absolutely hit it on the nail. So that's enough for Apple. That's enough for the portless phone. We'll talk more about it when the time comes. But until then, brace for impact, because our next story up is OnePlus. So guys, as you know, Sam and I have talked about the OnePlus phones. We think they are some of the best flagship phones, mid-range phones on the market. Well, this year, OnePlus received a lot of feedback and a lot of negative feedback. I called it out on OnePlus on my channel. I told Sam, you kind of were against this. You didn't think the feedback was fair. Well, OnePlus was listening, and in an exclusive interview from Fast Company, the CEO of OnePlus, Pete Lau, and he has basically come out and said they are shifting their strategy for OnePlus. Now, I'm not going to sit here and break down every single thing you need to know, but I'm going to give you the quick version. They're going back to their roots. They're going back to what made them OnePlus. They're going back to basically making phones at a low end, but also being able to take on the tech giants at a better price range. Now, let me clarify. That doesn't mean they're going to step back on things. Maybe here and there they're going to have to adjust a few things, but their goal as of right now is to go back to what made them OnePlus and what made them never settle. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going out of character right now. I normally don't ever do this, but when a company actually listens and they know what's going on, I got to do something special. I got to do this.
Did he just mute himself?
Went out. Let's go. All right, let's get back to it.
Oh man.
Good job, OnePlus.
Wow.
Good job, OnePlus.
Listen,
That's
yeah.
what you call listening to consumers. That is what you call listening to your fans.
Wow.
That is what you call being open. I just made a meme of myself, and I'm going to get a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Now, before I pass over the mic, let me just clarify that he is also referencing the OnePlus Z. So he was talking about a future device that will help set them back on the path to their roots. It'll basically give them a newest way, I guess you could say, of going back to what made them famous in the first place. So Sam, my question to you, and I'll let you take the floor because I actually have to step out for just a couple seconds, but I want to ask you, and I'll be listening. I got ears everywhere.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, and do you think that their market strategy is actually good?
It's good. I think it's smart, man. You bring another option to the market that's going to be more mid-range. If they end up bringing 5G with that mid-range, I think it's going to be huge. So let's say, for example, they bring a device that's got a 765G or a 768G or even a 6 Series 5G chip. That phone's going to come in at about $500 from OnePlus because they're already selling the OnePlus 8 at $699 unlocked. You can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from OnePlus. You can buy it from T-Mobile directly for $699. From T-Mobile, you're getting a waterproof phone. Verizon's selling the millimeter wave version of the OnePlus 8 for $799. And then the OnePlus 8 Pro is going to come in at $999. Or, no, I should say $899. So that being said, coming in at like a $499 price point, mid-range OnePlus, it's already got the credibility as a really nice phone. It's got the track record. It's got the company support. The mid-range chip would bring it to a better price point. You know, keep it at around 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Give it a headphone jack. Give it the IP rating. I know Carlos is talking about the RF. Maybe make sure the radio performance is good. It's going to have that operating system that's very googly, very stock Android-ish. Give them the updates. All the great support. It could be a smash. It could be a total hit. The one thing that I will say is this is not going to be what OnePlus did back in the day when they were selling flagship level specs at like half price. This is probably going to be more of a mid-ranger, or I think what we'll call it is a premium mid-ranger because it's going to be a competitor kind of sort of for the Google phone. It's going to be a competitor for those premium mid-rangers that are settling in around $700, $749, but it's probably going to come in around $499. And if it comes in at $499, they're going to sell a ton of these because it is going to be the best mid-ranger on the market.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what TCL does. OnePlus actually has a little bit of mind share.
We
like
ain't going
people
with
might think
TCL.
about it,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm thinking, So I don't know. I'm very excited to see, but it's got to have a good sized battery. It's got to have a headphone jack.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be mid-rangey if they're coming in at that price and give people a compelling option to get away from the OnePlus 8 at $699.
Yes, right there you said it. Now, I will say this. This is a good sign when a company is actively listening because it's a sign that it shows they need to adapt to survive. And I'm going to be honest. OnePlus, they shot for the stars this year. They took a chance. They were like, we want to hit that flagship, but it came at a cost. The cost was their reputation because they were known for being the flagship killer, supposedly. Mm-hmm. So their fan base was upset. And I'm happy that they're listening. You see, We need more companies like this that are actively listening and actively knowing what their consumers want. We need more companies. We need more people that actually take an interest in their fans.
Mhm.
Because Apple, whether Apple admits it or not, the only thing they care about in their fans is the software. With Samsung, the only thing they care about with their fans are their wireless earbuds or any accessories. When it comes to smartphone and stuff, they listen, but they don't listen enough, in my opinion. So let me get back to OnePlus real fast. So what I'm thinking, what they can do, because if you want to convince people to not only buy into OnePlus, but you also want to buy in, you're going to have to take some cutbacks, but you're also going to have to bring back some things. So you said it, headphone jack. I think that's a definite. I think that should be the first thing they do. They're bringing it back. Display. And that's another two. They've always had good displays. I don't think they would take a step back on displays. Maybe where they take a step back, maybe 1080p, not 1440. Maybe. I don't know, but
definitely not 90 hertz or 120 hertz.
No. Well, actually 90 hertz they could get away with, but they're going to have to clock it. I think what they're going to have to do is, because the OnePlus 7T was at 90 hertz and that was $400 something. So what, or maybe I get my facts. I don't remember the number, Sam. That was a year ago, so I apologize if I messed up a little bit. But I would actually like to ask you guys. I would actually like to ask the people watching this. Comment right in the live stream while we're talking. What do you think would be the perfect OnePlus phone? At what price point, specs, or what you would like to see? I want to hear what you guys have to say. But getting back to what you said, Sam, they could always, instead of going with the 865 or the 875, 765, 7 something, you get your 5G, the mid-range, keep it there, cut your costs, but you give them 5G. You have a glass back. I think that you could find a way to make wireless charging affordable in a mid-range. I think there is a way to do it. And battery size, I think standard, respectively speaking, I think they need to keep it 4,000 plus, because anything below that will be not up to par. Now, last thing, let's talk cameras. Now, people always say OnePlus have okay cameras. Their cameras are slowly getting better. If you're going to cut back, I think what would be interesting, Cesar, we got a $2 super chat. Very entertaining show and educational. Thank you so much, Cesar. I appreciate your feedback and input. Thank you so much. Keystone says headphone jack 865. Okay, so 865. We needs to have all network bands, including C-band. Well, the thing is, Caleb, if you're going to take a step back into the mid-range, I don't think people are going to follow too much on the broadbands of 5G and stuff. But that's a good idea. That's a good possibility. We could definitely take that. Last thing, what was I saying? Cameras, Sam? I think we were talking about cameras. So when it comes to cameras, I think they're going to have to switch their lens system. They're going to have to get a different manufacturer, because Sam, I don't know who provides their lens sensors. I don't know who does their lens, but I think they're going to have to switch it. But they're going to have to go with a brand that can produce sensors that are high quality at a cheaper price point. And it's not hard to find, because I'll be honest with you, look at the Pixel. For $399, that camera was pretty good. So overall, I think the perfect OnePlus phone would be great cameras. I think it would need some cutback with the processor, but keep some of the modern stuff. And the price point should be $599 to $649. That's my perfect OnePlus phone.
I don't know if OnePlus is willing to do it when it comes to the camera tech, but I think they should abandon their own app. I think they should abandon their own software configuration.
Ooh.
I think they should go Google, whatever it takes to allow Google to offer them a somewhat Google experience on camera performance on the software side. So we're talking post-image processing. Maybe not get the perfect portrait mode, maybe not get the perfect videography, but give them something a little bit more similar to what Google does with their Pixel lineup. And just to simplify the different, algorithm that goes into the processing of images when it comes to color, contrast, exposure, Google's got magic. I would literally abandon whatever they are doing and then try to get some semblance of Google's software performance when it comes to the camera performance. Now, I know Google's not going to give them everything, and they're not going to give them the magic, but at least make Gcam the stock app. At least just make Gcam the stock app. Get rid of the OnePlus app. Don't even give it to people as an option, because when you put your stock app, people are going to use that and they're going to say this camera's average. You know, give them the Gcam to heck with it, bro. Just let them do it and work it out.
Honestly, it's all software. All of it's software.
If you're using the same Sony IMX sensor, then it's all software.
Yeah.
You know, so and look, they've tried to do stuff on their own. It's hard to do, bro. Cameras have come a long way. I can tell you right now, when I got my first Android that had cameras, it was sad, you know, and then iPhone started doing good things with cameras and it was great. And Apple was catching up, and then the Androids caught up, you know, like with Samsung and with Google. And OnePlus, really, the only major thing that people will say is the camera is a little bit behind the competition. Not big, not in a big way, but enough to where somebody would say, if camera photography is my number one thing in my smartphone, I can't get a OnePlus.
All right. I get where you're going with that. And you know something, there's another phone I thought about that actually is pretty good. The Moto Edge Plus. If you take a look at what Moto did with the Edge Plus, it honestly, I think, okay, Carlos, come on now, man.
Yep. I think he's got a point. iPhone photography is very true to life. The color reproduction is very legitimate. Like, I take a picture with my wife's iPhone and I'm like, yeah, that looks like I'm actually looking at it. The pixels are nice because they do everything. They do low light phenomenal.
Yeah,
they do nice. Portraits phenomenal. You know, they get the edges in a lot of the photos perfect. It's really impressive. And then, you know, I haven't used the Moto Edge Plus. I can't comment, but I know Carlos is big on it. I did see some low light photography that blows out the lights, you know, with the high contrast. But, I mean, a software update could change that. So no big deal there. But, yeah, I mean, those are some good options.
Yeah, and you could notice that a lot of the field, as we're talking, you can see how far ahead most of these companies have headed, how much their technologies have improved, how much they've taken their time to make sure that what you're getting is the best, not only in terms of quality, but what you're paying. So for me, OnePlus, I'm happy you're listening. I'm really glad, and I'm glad to see you're going back to your roots, but don't give up on trying to keep it all low. You know what I mean, Sam? Like, don't try to focus too much. If you have to keep the price up, I think the safe bargain is $600 range. I think around there, $700. Once you start making $800, $900, then you'll start to see some people kicking it up. But I still think that's relatively fair. But once you break 900,000, that's when everybody's going to backlash. So $600 to $800 is really the range I think OnePlus should focus on.
Yeah.
And that's it for OnePlus. Now we have one next story, the main story of the night, and then we'll be getting a couple of people in. We want to hear what they have to say. T-Mobile. What a coincidence. T-Mobile. Now.
That's the noise. I don't know how do you do like an emoji, but.
So, okay. Now, let me give a little bit of backstory before we cover this. Sam and I have been very, very vocal when it comes to RCS support. We have made about maybe 30 videos combined talking about the benefits of RCS, the strategies of RCS, what's being adopted, what's going on. I have my channel and I've been documenting RCS for the longest time. And tomorrow on my episode of RCS, I will not only be covering this story, but another story. I didn't get a chance to fill it in on this live stream, but if you want to check it out, you can tune in tomorrow for my episode. And I will be discussing how RCS is taking a step towards basically being a much better alternative and basically getting rid of text messages. Oh, Jesus, Dirts. That's a good comment. Just grunting. But as you've known, guys, you know, the truth is this project with RCS has got very, very, if I say so myself, has gotten very messy. And I think it's messy because of one group of people. Not people, but a group. And I think I know, or I think you know who they are, Sam.
What in reference to
RCS rollout?
RCS, yeah. The
one group is carriers.
Yeah,
Yep.
carriers, man. They're the obstacle, man. They're really
Well,
screwing customers bad.
They are, and
They're
it's
taking us
done-
away from a standardized messaging system.
Well, it turns out that it seems that now they're going to start supporting, because released today from T-Mobile themselves, they are not only adopting Google's universal profile of
Right.
RCS that you find in the Google Messages app, they will be rolling this out to support cross-carrier messaging.
Woo!
And they will eventually allow every Android user in America, well, I'll explain that, to access RCS from the start. However, though, there is a catch. It is only limited to the Google Messages app right now.
Yeah.
So in the article, I'll take a couple minutes to explain this, and then we'll start bringing in some people. So in their launch, this is basically them adopting Google's platform. They're going to use the RCS standard profile, 1.0 profile, that will allow them to not only have every user on every Android phone to access RCS, but it will enable them to now be on par with AT&T and Verizon. That means that you can now start to message other people that have RCS with other carriers, because for a while it was limited. You couldn't do that. So T-Mobile is now starting. Now, of course, the key word is we still are waiting on Verizon and AT&T. We don't know how this affects that partnership that they had all agreed to make when they wanted to make their own version of RCS. But if I had to give a prediction, I think they're going to follow suit. But again, I still don't think the carrier should be involved in this. This should be something that is up to Google, and Google did it right. But with that said, though, T-Mobile did say that they are going to support their network. They're going to up their network support when it comes to people using the RCS. They are going to, and that's why I want to bring in somebody. And Sam, I don't know if he's in here yet. Let me know when he is, because I would like to start talking to him. I think you know who I'm talking about, the C to the M, and also Timbo and a couple of others. But RCS is going to roll out with the universal profile. I don't know exactly when it's going to start. We don't have an idea, but T-Mobile did make it state that eventually it will not just be limited to the Google Messages app. It will then be going over to the Samsung app, but Samsung has already announced their partnership. Guys, it is a confusing situation.
Yeah,
but the thing you need to know is RCS is getting the spread out it deserves. So with that said, is he in here, Sam?
Just sent the invite as soon as you kind of gave me the go. So he'll be coming in here.
So when he comes in, I want to give him a proper introduction, and then I want to question him. I'll take it from there, and then we'll continue on. But I want to ask you, Sam, how does this feel? I know this is a very confusing situation. I understand that we like it better when Samsung or Google do everything. All right, here he is. So with that said, we'll have to hold your question. I'd like to introduce everybody, Caleb, the RF engineer.
Caleb.
So Caleb, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you doing this. I'd ask Sam to invite you because I have some questions. I have some concerns. I got some. I'm gonna pull a Stephen A. Smith. I got some blasphemy I want to take off the hands right now. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. We got Carlos in the house. Thank you for coming on, Carlos.
What up, bro?
See, now we get in the squad, everybody. That's what happens.
Goons.
So I'm gonna start with Caleb. I'll move over to Carlos, then Sam. So Caleb, since you're an engineer, you work with these things. T-Mobile, in their press release, made it clear that they are also going to start using support with their network to get all the active users to use RCS. Now I want to ask you, as a consumer, as a person, I will be honest, I know nothing about engineering when it comes to cellular towers. I know that you guys do the heavy lifting while I just pay the bills and just enjoy it on my end. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. But now that T-Mobile is officially adapting the universal profile, explain to us the struggle, if there is any, on the network strains, and if you think T-Mobile is going to start improving any performances with their network, with the cellular connectivity towers, all that stuff. And also want to welcome in the bearded dragon, Pete Ravioli Pasta Man. It's good to have you on.
Yeah.
Caleb.
Hey, I make my own pasta.
Oh,
that
crap.
Ravioli Pasta Man.
I tried to remove his window, and I removed him. Get back in here, Technoid. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
I'm just
because I know you wanted to come in, but I didn't know if it was because of the topic or not. But Caleb, if you're ready to comment on the network side, maybe you could share that with us.
I can, but I was going to wait for him to come back in. I don't know. I can go now or.
Yeah, go ahead. He'll get back in here.
Okay. So, in the settings of your RCS messaging, I think there's an option there to select the amount of data that you want to receive, whether it's like the limited, or you can compress it, right? Okay. Now that's going to have, like a little bit of, processing time, to do on the network versus a normal MSS text message, right? Because you're actually using more data on the rich communication services. Techno, did you hear me at all?
I heard you a little bit before I got disconnected. I had the stream on my end, but could you just reiterate it one more time just so I could get like a quick brush up while you were talking?
Yeah, so with RCS, the rich communication services, you're using data versus the SMS messaging server, right? It goes strictly over the data. So you'll be able to actually select your there's an option in there to actually select your data amount for receive, the amount of data versus a limited, or you have a choice of I'm not sure how many KB it is.
Mm-hmm.
Pop it up, we'll show the options.
There it is.
Yeah. Right. So
105 is cap.
Right. So it's like, it's cap data, but I don't know how many people are gung ho about RCS messaging. I know people that are really heavy into iMessage. It's going to work a lot like that. Yes, it does put a little bit of strain on the network if you get 100 users versus, I'm just throwing out an analogy. If you use 100 users versus having RCS versus MSS, that's it's going to see a little bit difference because you're putting more data through the pipe. As far as congestion goes, T-Mobile, we're going to be in the process of doing some upgrades to backhaul, fiber backhaul. So
I must say one thing though.
Mhm.
At the moment, we have a stay-at-home order for the most part. So hopefully the additional strain on the backhaul, since this also does downloads over Wi-Fi, will be less noticeable than if everybody was at work and sending cat pics, so 100 meg cat pics over RCS while working on the T-Mobile network.
To be honest with you, yeah, that's correct. But this RCS, SMS used to be exclusively back in the day for 1X only. If you guys remember,
you got your own data. You got your own data stream, and for the most part, you're on a 2G backbone when you send a text message. Yeah.
So texting for MSS, 1X voice calls, right? So that all changes with RCS because you're going to need an LT data connection to send these rich communication services back and forth, especially if you're sending them to like group users, right? You can do groups with RCS, okay?
I have a 16 group in one of mine.
Wow.
Well, I'm not in any group. I don't use RCS. I mean, I use it a little bit, but not, I'm a Google Voice guy, but I think this is going to be great and for RCS, especially for people that have like businesses, small businesses. They want to, contact their employers, or they want to get some stuff going. It's always good to send some group text, especially with some data attached to it. I think this is a great step. I'm a big supporter of RCS. But yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, that's great.
We need a standard messaging system that does not have to be better than iMessage. It has to be competitive. It has to be similar. It's got to do the same things.
I wish it would work with iPhones as well as Androids.
See, okay, so let me come in with that, Pete. So the truth is, this profile doesn't just apply for Android; it applies for Apple as well. They could adopt the profile. The problem is they have iMessages. So if they adopt RCS, it'll throw off their server, and more people will be like, "Why would we use iMessage?" I think honestly, more people would probably just use iMessage for iMessage games and everything else they do. But RCS would create more of a hassle. For
iMessage is more secure, bro. versus anything Google does.
Well, yeah,
Watch
It
my
won't be
episode
for long.
Watch my episode tomorrow, and then that privacy stuff, all that concerns about RCS is about to go away. If you tune into tomorrow's episode,
That's true.
Beyond the security or anything, you're still going to have those Apple users that go, "Oh, you're a green box. You're one of the blessed." And or the RCS would be on blue, so they still have their guarded community.
Oh man, Pete.
Well, I mean, the RCS will be encrypted end to end as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to get to. That's the.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil your video.
Caleb!
It doesn't spoil the video because I think most people that know RCS know that was the end game. That was one of the things. It was security, and then it was also the effectiveness and retaining of quality and efficiency in sending larger files and retaining, the quality in video and picture.
Yeah, so this would be great for pictures, absolutely.
Well, not just that. It's supposed to be if I remember correct, Pete, if you looked at it, it's supposed to be a stage 2 encryption, which is more secure than iMessage.
They actually, in the APK app breakdown, I'm sorry, but in the APK app breakdown, it is actually what you just said. So they've broken it down. Somebody went into the codes and they actually looked at how they're going to do the end-to-end encryption. And I literally heard what he just said was broken down in APK.
So I'm to be sure that I'm going to have to go into an LTE lab, set up an LTE server, send a message to a line not using RCS, see what the encryption is on that, and then send it over RCS and see if I can throw a server blade to break what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I can comment on that. If you go RCS to just regular SMS, your end-to-end encryption will not work.
Nope.
Unless you pipe it through like a BSD or a Unix or a Mac server or something like that, like an iMessage server.
Sam, I got a couple questions. Just one for Caleb, and then I want to ask Tim some questions after.
But then you're going back to what he said real quick, though. Yeah. If you have to pipe it through a server, you're dealing with unencrypted to the point of the server.
Yeah. So the goal, from what I was able to gather, is they want the end-to-end encryption, not just for the platform, but for the profile as a whole. Sure. Yeah. Because the problem is apps will have their own end-to-end encryption built into the device. But if you're adopting an entire... Let's see. The Google Messages standard end-to-end encryption, Apple's own T1 chips. Like, these are hardware built-in things. I don't know exactly the specifications, but...
Yeah, some of them do. Titan chips and stuff
Titan chips, right? More Titan is, I was about to say, too. So it's mostly hardware built into the phone that they're going to have to usually... Samsung's got their own version, Knox. I don't know if it does anything. I can't comment. But, Caleb, one final question. Oh, go ahead.
Knox breaks your device when you unlock the boot manager.
No,
I'm not a fan of Knox. It ain't that. It's not that great.
All that.
It's appreciative. It's appreciative, but not necessary. But Caleb, one quick question to you, real fast, and then I want to get over to Tim because I actually have some questions for you, Caleb. So the original RCS profile, the universal profile that rolled out with T-Mobile back in 2018, I think it was. If you know anything about that, can you explain to everybody the similarities and differences with the original profile that T-Mobile tried to roll out, how it failed, and what you guys learned from it, if you know anything at all?
Well, a couple of things. It didn't really work that well as far as from a sender-receiver standpoint. And number two, you didn't get to pipe as much data as you do now.
So in your opinion, I guess this is really rhetorical, but you would say that I guess T-Mobile has learned to just adopt the universal platform that Google has presented rather than try to do, I guess, maybe what they were trying to go for in the past. Okay.
Exactly. And the reason why that is because you're just, if you're taking another person's standard, you're taking their API, it's a lot easier because you don't have to do any back end work. You see what I'm saying? All the back end work is technically on, Google's encryption, from end to end type of deal. You don't have to what they call front end anything on your T-Mobile servers and crap necessarily. It's a lot of the back end stuff is already taken care of for you. Kind of like how iMessage works today. Mm-hmm. So
All right. Good to know. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you reaching out, showing us. Pete, I got some questions for you coming your way soon. Now I need to move over to Tim. Tim, sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you for tuning in.
No,
again.
you
It's good
good.
to have you on. So I want to ask you, the reason I asked for you to come on is you're a retail employee, so you're going to have to sell this RCS concept to customers. Now, right now, as we speak, RCS is technically available. It is considered technically available to the mass public only through the Google Messages app. So my question to you is, let's assume that T-Mobile finally rolls this thing out. Like, let's say RCS is finally rolled out to the mass. It's finally adapted. It's all over the place. In your opinion, Tim, how do you sell that to consumers buying a new Android or an iPhone or whatever? How do you sell this premise so they understand it a lot better? Because we could talk about the security. We could talk about the details that go into the profile. We could talk all of that. But you got to sell consumers. You got to sell people. So I want to know, if you were in the shoes, let's say you find out that RCS is now going to be, let's say, a marketing gimmick. Let's say they use this as a marketing if you're buying an Android. How would you present it and present the case, I guess?
Dude, I got one. RCS. You can text your mama.
Text your mama. Yeah, boy.
Honestly, if they did pitch RCS messaging as a marketing thing, that'd be a pretty tough pitch because the everyday consumer doesn't care. They don't even know what it is. The only thing you can say is this fix a big pain point when iPhone or when you're on Android platform of compressed videos and compressed pictures. You can now send everything a full resolution and it won't be choppy. Other than that, it's going to be a tough sell.
Okay, but let's say that, let's assume, let's put an ideal, let's put a scenario in there. Let's say somebody comes in and says, hey, does Android have iMessages? Let's just pretend it's a scenario, because some people really ask that stuff. You'd be surprised. I think you know that. Would you tell them?
We get asked that all the time. If Android can do
you see?
But no.
But would you ask them, or would you tell them that you could send messages over Wi-Fi? What would that have to do? Because would you see RCS being a game changer for people buying Androids in the store and also adapting this whole system, or do you see this more? It needs a little more time for people to know about it.
I don't see it being a game changer. Is it going to add some cool features? Yeah. Is it going to add the end-to-end encryption? Yeah. Google's also adding availability. You can send text over your Gmail account now and do duo calls over your Gmail account now. So all of that's going to be, way easier because you don't need a phone number.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just like iMessage, just like iCloud.
I guarantee you, one customer's not going to walk in a store and be like, does this phone have RCS messaging?
No.
Only techie people have ever asked me about RCS messaging. And granted, I do have a lot of them here, but not as many as you would think based on the everyday consumer.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's fair. Go ahead, Pete.
I tried to get a retail store employee to sell me stuff over tech specs that he had no idea about. It was adorable.
Most of them don't. I mean, if you find a retail employee that knows what a Snapdragon 865 is, that's probably about as good as you're going to get. Now, to go next level into software, camera specs, reliability, security of the operating system, and everything else, most don't know it unless they took the time to learn it on their own. They're not trained for it.
I actually went back to that store a little bit ago after the guy was still working there after 6 months. Asked him about a phone and right with the technical stuff. Every question I asked. So I think I may have encouraged him to go beyond selling.
Good. That's a very good thing you did there, Pete, and I'm proud of you for that.
I put him through the ringer when he was trying to sell me on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S4 tablet I picked up with them.
I see. Well, hey, you did it.
So he wanted to, avoid those situations in the future.
Nice.
So, I actually have a question for Caleb. So with Google messaging app already having full support for RCS on the carrier end, what really needs to happen if Google already has the implementation on their own servers?
It's the more sturdier of the end-to-end encryption. If I could talk, it's the end-to-end encryption part. It's also the so when you send a message, it has to go through what we call your packet core. From throne to cell site to your packet core. Okay, so that's your EPC, your vol packet core, right? So and through that it encrypts it even more, and stuff like that, and goes to its destination. So it's more encapsulation, I would say, right?
But with that being said, if Google's can go to the route and add it to your Gmail account, why bother with the carrier support?
Carriers like having control over stuff.
Carriers want their hands on everything, but what I'm basically saying is they're creating RCS to be just like iMessage.
Well, it's not just that, but think about, I'm taking a look at it like this. You depend on a carrier for a phone call, right? Okay. This is the same. This is right, but this is the same principle. Now you're depending on a carrier for a text message of data with data attached to it. It's the same principle. That's why.
Okay. And it's good to know this. And something, I'm glad you guys are here to give us both perspectives, because a lot of people don't know a lot about RCS. So the more people know about it, the more people are aware of this platform and what's happening, the more there will be a demand and a need. Because most people, for a while, it was announced in 2018. Nobody asked for it. Nobody knew enough about it to say, I want this. But finally, when Google released this profile and got the hype building up, now you start to see the shove come. And I want to get to Pete real fast before I get to Sam and Carlos, because Sam, you're sitting over there like a gangster over there, relaxing. I got some fire for you.
I was going to say, I'm just happy now that I can like a text and send an emoji to a text thread just like iMessage can. And they get
good God, I hate that.
Man, my mom's been sending me big smiley faces on RCS ever since she got the dang thing.
Look at that.
Yeah, if you're on the beta form, it's already active.
Hey,
big shout out to Vapor Garage. Thank you for the $5 super chat through the PayPal. Very kind of you, and thank you for the generous donation. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the pay. Anybody giving super chats out, shout out to you guys. You're
Darius,
the real MVP.
Yep, thank you so much.
All right, Pete, you've been sitting quietly. I've been trying to get to you.
We got to get Carlos in here, bro, because he's going to give us.
I'll get it. I'm going to tell you
why Carlos we need him. Let me tell you why we need him.
Let me hear it.
That's the Apple angle right there.
That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. Yep. So let me do this real quick, Pete. I'm sorry, I don't want to rush you, but let's talk security with RCS, because you've brought this a couple times in the live stream. So in your personal opinion and in your experience, what do you think RCS, the profile, and also the encryption, what do you think it needs to make it secure? And also, what kind of, I guess you could say, suggestions would you throw out there to help make this thing secure and also make it, I guess you could say, how do I put this? I guess reliable.
You would need to prove that the phone can generate a strong encryption.
Okay. That's number one.
Based on the profile, or not even if you're trying to obfuscate, but generate a signature.
Like a SSH key, kind of like a encryption key.
Generate a signature so the other sender can have some legitimacy for it being you or a device you started using, like I use my browser. Exactly like an SSH key. Mm-hmm. But it would all have to be done on device. The moment you require it to go somewhere off device to get an encryption, you've completely lost me on the encryption angle.
All right.
I will man in the middle that.
So you're saying it needs to be done on the device, not on the server.
Dude, did you just use like a man in the middle reference?
Oh, no, that's exactly what people like me would do.
I know.
Be able to sniff.
We had to always get that one person that has to be for both sides. Now we got to get that one person.
It's a man in the middle of attack. He's a goobster.
Man in the middle attack. If it goes off device and needs to go to a third station to encrypt, the moment that happens, it's effectively unencrypted.
Yeah.
The iMessage encrypts on device and then sends.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is with Apple, and you know this too. Most of their security, what they claim security, some of it is hardware, some of it's software. They're implementing now the new T-series chips. They're putting it in everything from the iPad to the iPhone to the Mac. It's basically their platform of security, basically onboard security from the get-go. My only question with their security is how do we know exactly? Because it's been proven to be, vulnerable, their T-series chips. Some of the chipsets have been proven to be vulnerable. So I would say you've got to work on a good onboard encryption before we talk about servers or anything. I think onboard encryption should really be priority, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm right saying that.
My Pixel 3 would have no problem doing the on-device encryption.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is if I'm sending it to someone who doesn't have a Titan series chip for encryption, decryption, and biometric stuff, they will not be doing the decrypting locally. They'd be doing it on their third-party cloud provider.
Ah, I see. Well, at the end of the day, you know what it is, Pete? It's hardware. It's hardware. It's a two-way road. You just gotta have reliability, and you just gotta hope. I mean, I can't really speak too much because if I say something dumb, everybody's gonna hound me for it. But I'm just being honest. You just gotta hope.
Yeah, it's both hardware and software.
So now we get to the man that's been sitting quietly, patient.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
So the T chips that Apple's using, how is it compared to Google's Titan chips? Because that's something I haven't really looked into.
Yes, Pete.
In theory, they should both be,
about a balance.
Top of their class. In theory, I haven't read anything about someone trying to, compromise either of them successfully. But there was this one, Abbott, a medical device company, has started releasing cell phone peripherals for their devices for added information using NFC on Pixel devices side by side with Apple devices, which is a huge step because up until recently, any biometric stuff was not allowed on Android.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at least parity with the with these medical device companies.
I see. Well, hey, this is all so much. My whole feeble brain still needs more learning to do.
Hey, don't feel bad. One of the directors in my department, his brain gets tired listening to me.
Well, you're a very smart man, Pete. So I trust you. I would trust you over probably not anybody here. But I'll say I'll trust you over anybody that tries to tell me about security because you have a clearer idea. You know exactly what you're talking about, and the people don't even know. I'm just saying.
I read papers nearly every day, and what I'm working on, I probably know the papers better than the authors.
Well, there you go. You should be writing this stuff. You should be hosting.
I am writing a paper on the security for CBRS.
Oh, nice.
I will talk about it when I get accepted as a publication.
Oh, well, I got faith in you. You'll get it. I got faith.
So does the department. It's on a grant deliverable.
All right, Sam, one last person, and then we'll get to you to wrap this up, and then I'll get my surprise in there.
Yeah.
We got the man. I asked you, Sam, I need you to do me just one favor. I want Carlos on the screen alone with me.
Yeah.
Everybody clear the room.
Yeah.
Clear the air. We got an Apple man. I want this man. All right, Carlos. Where
Yo, what up?
I got to be on this. Where did I go now?
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know.
You put the other ones backstage.
All right, I'm gonna remove everybody except those two.
Let's do it. Sorry, everybody. All right, Carlos. I got some questions.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
We all know you are an Apple user. We all know you claim and rave about Apple being this, Apple that, Apple my apples, potato potatoes.
Well,
we all know it. And trust me, I completely understand it. Apple is awesome in some respects. But I have to ask you, you're the Apple perspective now. I used to be, now I'm kind of 50-50, but you are a solid 100 reliable source when it comes to your experience with Apple because you use Apple phones, you buy almost everything, so you know everything. But as mainly an Apple user, now that you've heard everything that we've been talking about with RCS, I'm going to be blunt. Asking this question, I already know the answer. But as somebody that's listening, does this give you a little bit more, how would I say, a little bit more confidence in Android's performance step up in terms of trying to match Apple's iMessage system and also giving you a little bit more faith to use Android a little bit more? I want to hear what you have to say.
In that part, yes, but no, because for the reason why iMessage, the how do you call it? Apple will not release anything to the police or create a backdoor, unlike Android. So just like unfortunately what happened with the bombers in San Bernardino County, all right, Apple never released any way, shape, or form to get into the phone versus a Google device that anybody can just plug in something and get their way through it and eventually crack the app, get in the phone. So to me, yes, you can have a good chip to encrypt it on the device. Yes, you can do all that, but will Google say, you know what, screw you guys, I don't care, you got a court order, the customer agreed to this privacy terms and conditions, so we're going to honor that even if you try to sue us and throw us in jail, just like how Apple did. Okay. To me, that's more important.
Okay, you know what? That's actually very fair. You know what? I actually agree. I understand that perspective. I like that, and I respect that respectfully 100%.
But they're going in the right way, though. But they need to give the customer that relief, knowing that their information is their information only, and not for somebody to have a backdoor or to be able to plug something into the port and then be able to take the information without warrant.
Wow. You know what, Carlos? That's a fair point. All right. Now, my last question to you, then we'll move over to Sam. We'll round it up. As an iPhone user, when you use iMessage, now you've talked about security, but let's talk convenience. Let's talk in that area. Okay. So when you use it, it's seamless. You've got your blue bubbles, send, delivered. You got your little, it's iMessage at its finest. So now I would ask you, this is never going to happen. I'm going to put it out there right now. Apple will never adopt RCS. I'm just saying it. But if they were to adopt RCS, just a scenario, how would that, do you think, would you use RCS more, or do you think you would rather just stick with iMessages for the security, but also more of convenience, leeway? What do you think?
I would think that would be better if they can create like a cross-platform where at the end of the day, if you have iMessage or RCS, either way, it'll work universally. That would be nice. But like you said, we know that won't happen anytime soon, just because privacy issues. Basically, what it comes down to is both parties having to have the same terms and conditions when you agree to use the services. But honestly, bro, I would give it a shot. I would use it. Why not? But I know I wouldn't talk too personal on it, but I would use it to talk to, like, let's say you that's an Android user or Sam or somebody. Yeah, of course. I would have it on my phone and use it. Why not?
All right. That's good. And you know what? I like that perspective. So I guess where we now leave this up to Sam, because Sam, you can bring everybody back in and then you can wrap this up, Sam, and then we'll get to the final thing. So basically where we are, a sense, I guess that we all agree that RCS is really the way to go. I mean, if it's fair to say, we all agree that that's the way to go. Yeah. We agree that RCS does have its faults with terms of encryption, security that they have to definitely capture, they have to work on. And also, Caleb kind of basically talked about network congestions, kind of helped clear up a lot of things. So basically what we did tonight, and I don't think we all realize, is we basically just gave people watching this video probably the best reliable way of knowing exactly how RCS would work, some of your concerns, the info you need to know. And I'm faithful in saying that because we have right in this live chat some of the best people that could give you information, from Caleb, an engineer who works with the cellular towers, knows about network congestions, actually works hand to hand, to Pete, who is very great with cybersecurity and also just great as a person in knowledge, and Tim, the marketing aspect, talking about how consumers and adaptation. Then you got Carlos, the Apple user, giving his perspective, me just asking the questions, moderating, because I already covered this stuff enough. And now we leave it to Sam.
Oh, I thought I was just here to offer the free Wi-Fi. I didn't know what was going on. You know
Yeah. Talking about Wi-Fi, look what I got in.
Para mí?
Yeah.
Para mí.
Ooh.
This
So
is
Sam,
I'm
what
gonna
do you
hook
want
it
to say
up.
with all this?
All right, look, man. I've always wanted secure messaging. I've always wanted messaging that didn't restrict me in any way, because whenever I sent photos, whenever I sent videos especially, it looked like hell. That was really my biggest issues. I want secured messaging. I want high-performing messaging, and I just want it to be a standard, because here's what I've learned about Wi-Fi routers and modems and smartphone internals. If there's no standard,
It's not going to happen.
It's never going to work, and there's always going to be changing. You're never going to get generational succession where you actually get to the pinnacle of the hardware. It ends up being this crazy hodgepodge of technology in which manufacturers never have agreement. And then all you do is get this disjointed connectivity across all these different platforms, like what LG does and what Samsung does, and they've got all these different pay methodologies, and they've got all their different versions of mail apps. And bro, enough of the nonsense. We're talking about smartphone connectivity, right? So why can't we have certain things standardized, you know?
With the mail app thing, why can't I get a mail app that is so good at doing secure email that isn't Gmail?
That's what I'm with you, bro.
Like, I've paid for 4 mail apps that are supposedly secure and whatnot, but for some reason, even if I'm checking my email 3 times a day and I don't blacklist anything and I say, give me all the notifications, I keep missing emails.
Yeah, it sucks.
With the Gmail, I don't. Why can't I get that?
Yeah. Why does everything have like one hole? Why is everything imperfect?
I'm paying $10 for this app. Why can't I get notifications for every single message?
No. Yeah, a messaging convoy, you know.
You're right. Hey, I listen, at the end of the day, we could go on and on about this. And you know something, some of this stuff, some of these answers may never be answered publicly. You're just going to have to figure them out eventually over time. But now that we've done talking about RCS, this should be the end of the live stream. But of course, there is one more thing. I had to pull in. Is
this OnePlus 8 doing DSS on T-Mobile?
Nope. I wish. But
by the way, if you want to know about that, watch the video Sneed released earlier.
Yes, shout out that video. Shout out. That was an excellent video, Sam.
That's why I'm gonna cut Pete the check next month.
All right.
Plug
Are you
me.
guys ready? Are you ready for the surprise, Sam? I didn't tell you. I didn't tell anybody. This is actually the last story of the night, and then I'll let you guys go on your merry way. You guys can do whatever you want, Panoscope, whatever you call it. So, Periscope, I don't care. So,
pandemic.
How many of you? Yes, you know what? Let's call it that. So, I have a question to everybody here. Yes or no? Who remembers the Amazon Fire phone?
Pete.
Yep, the Note 7.
On fire, yeah.
The one that exploded on airplanes due to decompression.
Mm-hmm.
Who remembers the fiasco that phone caused? Amazon. Who remembers it was a fail?
Yeah, it was bad, bro.
Well,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I do. That's
Well,
where the joke comes from.
Well, I got some
You
news.
know, if I have a phone, I'm already getting enough ads. Heck, my Gmail app gives me ads. I don't need targeted Amazon ads.
Yeah, man. Facts.
Hey,
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. After their $170 million buyout, whatever they did, it looks like Amazon, show it up, looks like they might be coming back to the smartphone market with a brand new smartphone. Now, let me disclaimers.
Are they Note
Disclaimers.
7s?
I heard it's going to be called the divorce phone.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. Yeah, it should
As
be a
a-
divorce
Special,
phone.
They're the
special.
plot twist phones, man.
Can I root it for a good ROM? Or are they doing MediaTek?
Lock
Well,
it down.
here's what I'll break it down. So, let me disclaim a few things. Number one, this article was posted a week ago. So, the news came out from when Amazon's executive, basically, they were just discussing ideas of entering back the smartphone market, and they happened to make a gesture indicating that they're working on a concept to bring back the smartphone, a Fire branded. So, let me explain it to you guys real quick. and then
Hold up, I got another question.
Sure.
It says it has Alexa integrated. I mean, with Siri, she misunderstands you, but she pulls up a Wikipedia page for diapers. With the Alexa integration, are they going to ship you diapers?
Diapers. What the hell?
Oh, what the hell?
But it works, bro, because he's basically saying, is it even able to distinguish a search for a purchase?
Well, that's where I'll break everything down. You need to know. So, basically, what they're hoping to do with this phone is not only get back into the smartphone market, but they want to rebuild the ecosystem. So, if you guys don't know, Amazon has so much products from the Echo Dot,
Yeah.
Echo Plus, Echo Buds. They have Amazon basically built up to be this ecosystem. Now,
They have, it's not Nest, Ring Doorbell.
Ring doorbell, yes. That's actually a very good. That's awesome. They got Ring because that thing is awesome. But
No, it's horrible. Don't buy it.
It's a security nightmare, bro.
You just need to put Alexa and Sir in the same room and just watch them fight each other.
Yeah, let them go at it, bro.
yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it.
Ring is a security nightmare. I have this one person I worked with. I was able to get onto their network and just look at their network after 3 minutes by accessing a porter in the Ring doorbell.
Anyway, can
With that being said, the Nest doorbell is very good.
Yep. I've used the Nest doorbell. I've set it up. It doesn't break. Heck, I can't even find it broadcast.
Hey, Mike, got a question for you, bro.
Sure, what's up?
Freaking whatever happened with that Energizer phone? Supposedly it was coming out with like 20,000 milliamp.
Oh,
battery.
that phone tanked even before the pre-sales could go live. They already had a pre-launch and everything, and their sales, it was gone.
Bro, it would be nice to have a phone with a 20,000 milliamp battery.
If it had decent software, yeah.
All right, can I finish this thing and then I'll ask you guys a question so we can just rush this out so you guys can get going. So let me explain. So what they want to do is they want to re-enter the market, but what they're going to do is they're going to work on Alexa for a phone base. So the rumor is, now this also goes back to my sources because I asked them about this as well. Again, keep this with a grain of salt, people. They are claiming that Amazon is going to have the department. They're going to have two separate AI integration. So the way that it's going to be done is they're going to have two separate versions. So one version will do your shopping, it'll do your commands, and then they will have a second one that'll be basically combined into Alexa, but it will basically be those simple command prompts, just like how you use a normal Echo without making mistakes. And basically they're going to do what Google does. They're going to do like an adaptive kind of form. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. What that basically means is that as you use your Alexa, it'll basically help to start, what would I say? It'll learn over time when you're telling it to make an order.
A form of machine learning.
Machine learning, exactly. But here's the catch with this Fire phone or Echo phone, whatever
it's a Fire phone.
It's not going to have the Google Play Store. It's going to feel like a Fire tablet. So my final question to everybody, and then whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. But my final question is, can Amazon pull this off? Is this going to be anything? What can they possibly? Is this even needed?
They can pull it off.
So
there is a market. You want to go, Carlos?
No, I was just gonna say, bro. I was just gonna say, so what? Since there's no app store, so what? Is it gonna go on? Does that mean that the phone will catch on fire easier? Is fire?
No,
you know?
there is an app store. It's the Amazon App Store, which actually has a fair bit of stuff, and you can sideload it on any Android phone.
Oh man, so that means I'm gonna be stuck getting Alexa telling me to buy more shit. Or stuff. Right.
No.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is with these Amazon devices, like if Sneed, could you, or whoever's hosting, could you pull up like a Fire tab and show the price?
Sure, I got you.
There, as I pointed out, I get ads in my Gmail. I don't need ads in my phone operating system. But by adding ads to the mobile device operating system, you're able to get prices like he's about to demo, and certain demographics are strapped for cash and are willing to pay less for with ads for a mid somewhere between an entry and a mid-range device that's subsidized by those ads.
So that means I'll get the phone for the low price of $29.95.
Possibility.
$50.
Oh, you'll get it for like $80.
Yeah.
You'll have 64 gigs of storage in there. You're gonna have a 720p camera, but it's gonna be sub 100. And for some people, they'll compromise for a sub 100, sub $200 phone.
Especially for family.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's okay.
Someone can make it.
So
Somebody can make it work.
This is why it's going to have some success. Is it going to be a good device? No. But people who are looking for what it offers will buy it because of the price.
Fair to say. That's fair. Carlos?
What's up?
What do you think?
I mean, it sounds great, bro. I mean, it's sub $100 device. So, yeah, you're going to have to live with a little bit of adware, but you already know people will find ways around that anyways, an app to install to disable it or something like that through the future. So either way, it's not a bad deal to get a family, let's say of 5 that need phones, but they don't got $1,500, $2,000 to dump on 5 phones, or to have a high phone bill every month just to be able to make it happen. I mean, it's not a bad option.
All right,
if they can pull it off.
That's fair. And Ram, you had one job, mate. You had one job. Caleb?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. It'd be a good selling point maybe for the younger youth, teenagers. Maybe be a good starter phone for them just to have. That's all I got.
Tim?
Straight up, I ain't buying no Romi phone.
Well, the phones aren't for us.
No, it's not for us.
I mean, I guess it'd be good for a certain demographic, but even if it is a sub $100 phone, at that point, save up a little extra cash, go get a Pixel 4a for $350. Call it a day.
That's
Some
fair.
people can't afford that even with savings.
No, but Tim will sell them a T-Mobile Rebel 2 for $149.95.
Yeah.
But these might be at parity with the Revel.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's giving people a second or third option in that price point. The question was, can they do it? Yeah.
I think they could pull it off, but I just don't trust Amazon and I don't trust Alexa.
But there's bigger problems than even the trust part. When you're coming in at that point, there's a large portion of the market that's not looking. That's I think is the hard part, because they bombed with the first one and there's no mind share thinking about the Fire phone. It's become a running joke on my platform, so yeah, big credits to Pete. I got a hashtag bearded dragon, bro.
Hashtag bearded ravioli was right. Hey, listen, honestly, like he's
I make my own ravioli.
Send me the recipe. I'll try it out.
Ravioli,
homemade raviolis, bro.
Chef Boyardee's in a can.
You got the ricotta with the egg, the basil, the oregano, and the Parmesan, and then you add your choice of other filling.
Hey,
yeah,
that's-
raviolis. Forget
Bro.
about it. We know
Oh,
Forget
ravioli.
about
Bro.
it.
Pop it with some egg, boil it for
He-
2 minutes, you're done.
I'm telling you, people put Chef Boyardee out of business, bro.
Hey.
Max, bro.
But
Nah,
oh, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
can't. Mine, you'd get like a high-end restaurant price per dish.
I'll say this and then I'll end it. I think then that's it, Sam. But yeah, they could pull this off. But whether the consumers are going to go for it, I don't think so, because the market is just too far ahead. There's too many alternatives out there. There's so many phones for so many ranges. I can understand if they want to hit that super, super low end market. But the thing is that this is an
That's
Echo
what they
phone.
target.
But the thing is that in the article, they're trying to break they're trying to break in with LG, Samsung. They're trying to get there up there because they have an established platform with their smart assistant, which I think their smart assistant, whether you trust it or not, it's one hell of an assistant. But now you're trying to put this on a phone, and your phone's running Fire OS, which is just okay for me. I've used Fire OS, and for me, it was just too limited. I had to jailbreak the thing and get Google Play Store on it. That was just me. But
You have to.
I think what they need to do before they even try to make a smartphone, they really need to examine the strategic, and from a strategic standpoint, they need to establish themselves back with the Fire tablet, because the Fire tablet has sales are about middle, because they're not really a serious contender. I think if you started making them more of a contender, upgrade the software experience, start to figure out where you can capitalize in areas, I think then you could worry about a smartphone. But until then, you just enable Alexa as your smart assistant on your phone, and that's it.
I think we can all agree, though, before anybody gets excited about a Fire phone or whatever, I don't even think Amazon cares about the phone itself. I mean, it could run any specs. It could do any whatever, hardware, whatever it uses, MediaTek, whatever. They just want to throw ads at your face. They just want you. They just want you in contact with the Amazon shopping and the revenue streams that they've built on the platform for the notifications of every time I unlock my phone, there's an ad. They literally don't care about the phone. I actually would not be surprised if they could find a way to give a phone for free.
I had a girlfriend named Alexa once.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
trust it.
No.
I don't trust it. Now I'm bit. No.
Buzzing.
All right. Cha-ching. And that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Sam, if anything you want to do last minute, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Let me give some shout outs to what's going on with the SMT communities. We have the SMT Patreon page. There are 3 tiers if you'd like to become a member of that community and support the SMT YouTube channel and the Patreon. We got a link to the second channel, Sneed Mobile Tech live streams. We have the Twitter handle at Sneed Tech, and the Megadon.net invite code is also in the description box. The social media platform of the future. Never need another social media platform ever again. No algorithms, no ads, and no tracking. Megadon.net. Big shout out to the Mod Squad. Hashtag Mod Squad if you got a blue wrench and you've dropped it on somebody's head. Second shout out goes to those watching this in the live. Hashtag 2Live Crew. Big shout out to those watching this on replay. Shout out to the replay gang. Hashtag Replay Crew.
Man,
And,
my blue wrench is in the other room. I was repairing some plumbing in my laundry room.
Big shout outs to Cesar, Darius, Lamar, Gene, BKNYC, Big Lou. Thank you guys for supporting and providing donations, as well as Lawrence. I know you gave the super chat from PayPal, so thank you guys for that. I want to personally thank Caleb, Carlos, Pete, the Bearded Dragon, Tim for coming on and hanging out, and a very big special shout out to Technoid for coming in and basically carrying the mail, putting on his big boy pants, and holding down the SMT podcast. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and kind of help. There's that wrench. He's got to go. You got to pull that out. Boom.
And literally, if you guys have not, I don't understand what you're waiting for. Every member of the SMT Nation should go ahead and subscribe to Technoid.
Wow.
He covers every part of the consumer market when it comes to smartphones and other wireless technologies. It's the perfect complement for somebody who is subscribed to the SMT YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe, activate your bell notification icons, and be a part of that community along with the rest of the SMT Nation.
Thank you, Sam. And thank you guys for coming on and letting me, I will say this, guys. Thank you for letting me be able to establish myself, not just on your platform, but as a YouTuber. I want to thank I want to thank Pete, Caleb, Tim, Carlos, people that I've known through this process. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for making this journey an amazing journey. I got a lot of things coming up on my channel in terms of reviews, in terms of tech shows, collaborations. I got some things going for hopefully, I would say, the summer. I am dubbing my series the Summer of Reviews 2020. I just reviewed the Soundcore Flare 2. I discussed that. So if you want to check that out, that is my newest upload. But guys, again, Sam, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
To everybody that joined on the live stream, thank you for tuning in to watch me host this thing. Thank you to the guests to help back up the evidence and claims and help make this show awesome. Thank you guys so much. And as always, everybody, I'm going to do my outro, Sam, and then you can end it. If you liked the live stream, you like the video, hit that like button. If you dislike the video, hit that dislike button. That helps circulate the videos as well.
Click the bell.
Hit the bell. Turn on your notifications.
No, click the bell.
Hit the bell.
State says punch the bell.
Oh, you want me to?
Either you like it, or if you want to dislike it, you can dislike it, and that's how it goes. The
If
world
you
goes round
dislike
and
it,
round.
that's your problem.
You dislike it?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, you gave us a view,
Hey.
you gave us some money, and we're circulated. So that's one
Yeah.
up. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in, everybody. Take care, everyone. Have a safe night, great night, and
Peace.
Hey, Carlos, you going live tonight, Periscope?
I guess we'll do. Hey, I was thinking this, bro. Tomorrow, I don't know if you guys want to do it. Tomorrow we'll do throw YouTube on, and we'll.
I'm doing a Patreon exclusive. You tell me what time to do that, and then we'll do your thing.
I'm doing
We'll do it as a after party.
Okay.
ooh,
teasers for those who are not on the Patreon.
Yeah.
I'm
you
going
need
to
to
be
join.
complaining about emojis.
And they're uncensored.
Oh,
we let it
geez.
fly, bro. We let it fly.
And they're
Yup.
uncensored. So
Yeah.
it's me bashing emojis uncensored for
Yeah,
5
technically,
minutes.
you're welcome to come on if you like.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna just watch as a fan tonight. I already housed this thing, so I'm gonna watch as a fan tonight.
House. All right, guys,
Ooh.
we're out of here. Take it
Oh,
easy.
yeah.
Take care.
Sign up for the Patreon. Starts at $1.
Mm.
You can do $2, $3, or whatever you like. And tomorrow you can listen to me complain about emojis for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we out this piece.
All right.
Peace.
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 Peace.